right, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. What a wonderful time to be alive. The first blossoms of spring are gently opening. The winter chill is still in the air. The sun beams down, and you can witness the miracle of Mother Earth behind a pulled blind. When you're going into the second wave lockdown, which all of you eventually will have to go into, when they tell you about it, your first thought is panic and anxiety. And then after a day or two, you start to process it. You're like, well, I don't really want to leave the house anyway. I can save a little bit of money. It's an excuse not to work for another 6 weeks. I can spend some quality time with the family. Again, more quality time with family. You just accept it. Because there's not much else you can do now. They've turned the fucking screws hard now. They're using old fucking prison guard tactics. If there's a rogue in your jail, a fucking cool hand Luke, you don't punish the individual for what they do, you punish the group. And soon enough, the group is going to be out for blood. If they continue getting punished for doing the right thing, it's old school. And that's how you get a population to turn into fucking snitches and rat each other out and want each other in re-education camps. You got to get rid of those rogues, otherwise civilization will fall apart. And that's a nice little segue into Uninformed with comedian David Boyle. This week, the topic I'm going to talk about is another topic very close to my heart. It's actually one of my passions, and I know a great deal about it. Education. The myth of education. All education is a slow, painful process to turn you into a compliant fucking worker. All you need school for is to learn to read and write, simple mathematics, and problem solving. Problem solving is probably the biggest thing you need education for, and they stop that very early on. Even if you are a bright, intelligent, philosophical sophist like myself, by the time you reach year 9, it's over. That's when they really start replacing any type of free thinking with compliance. Even if you can do the work naturally, they start loading you with homework. Do the homework. I don't want to do the homework. I'm at fucking school 8 hours a day. I don't want to go home and do more fucking schoolwork. Just let me do the shit at school. We will fail you if you don't do the homework. You need to learn to do the homework. It's like, fuck you. All right, you're out. You're done. You're a bricklayer for life. Get the fuck on the trowel and get out of my school. Next. Do the homework and we're going to fucking test you at the end of each semester on everything you've learned in the homework. And then your parents are there encouraging the teachers. It's like, fuck you. Why the fuck are you supporting the teachers? They're only slightly smarter than me, and I'm in year 9. Detention, you're punished. Do what we say, behave, or you're out of here. Then they take away your free thinking and your ability to problem solve and replace it with memorizing texts and repeating horse shit. When was Australia discovered? By Captain Cook? I don't fucking know. Who cares? Is that going to get me any more puss at the bar? It's not. No one cares. How about I ask the Aboriginals when fucking Australia was discovered, huh? Did anyone in class mention that? Even if you did, you'd be reported to the principal. We've got another one. We've got another problem. And they'll sit you down. Listen, you're being very selfish here. There's 37 other people in this class that are trying to learn. And when you start yelling out about Aboriginal people being here 50,000 years before Captain James Hook, it prevents other people from receiving an education. It disturbs Billy's epilepsy. He ends up flailing on the floor. And then no one learns. It's like, fuck you, jam it, cunt. I've got YouTube now. I've got Google. There's nothing you can teach me that I can't type into Google myself. What do I need you for? That's what I'd be saying if I was a young student now. I'd be like, fuck you. I've got Google in my pocket. What can you teach me? Do you know how to code? I've known how to code since I was fucking 2. How old are you? 67? Do you even know how to buy drugs off the dark web? Get the fuck out of here. And here's your fucking textbook back as well. I don't need that either. Read Macbeth. I just read Belle de Jour, Diary of a fucking London call girl, unlikely call girl. That's all I need to know about mathematics and the economy. Whoring yourself out for a living. Because that's what I'm doing here, sir. But they need you to learn all the lessons in high school because you've got university to go to. By the time you get to university, that's when they expect you to obey and comply without supervision. In high school, you supervise the whole time. That's why they have the VCE or SATs or whatever the fuck they're called. They pile on the pressure so hard that by year 12, you so badly want to go to university and get a good score in high school that your parents don't even need to supervise you anymore. The teachers don't need to. By year 12, the teachers are doing fucking nothing. They weeded out all the bad kids in the bricklayers in the first 3 or 4 years, and the good kids that are retarded, they get weeded out the next 2 years. And then what you've got left at the end of high school is the most well-behaved, compliant, round pegs for the round holes that you could have possibly imagined. And all they dream about now, all they dream about becoming now is fucking accountants, engineers, lawyers, Uber drivers, teachers. So they go to university, they think they know what they want to do because they've been spoon-fed the only options that are available to them for the last fucking 12 years. The most well-behaved ones will fly through university, they'll choose something, they will do it, they'll finish their 4 years, they'll go to masters, they'll do the whole thing. No complaints, no regrets. Then you'll get people who just chose something for no reason, just to get into university, just to do it. They get there, they do a year, they realize they don't want to do it. Then they continue doing it, finish it, get a job in that field, and then end up dressing up in a gimp mask and hanging out around public toilets to fill the void. And then you got the people who just scrape by, just got through year 12, got into university, they do a year or 8, and they're like, I fucking hate this. Why am I doing another fucking 4 years of study to get a job that I'm never gonna fucking like? Do you know what I'd rather do than that? Fucking anything. Name anything. I'll fucking open a nail salon. I'll learn Vietnamese and start painting fucking nails. But get me the fuck away from this. And the teachers, please. A collective bunch of retards they are. Obviously, there's some good teachers, but there's so few that it's almost not even worth pointing out. I went to uni with teachers. 2 of my housemates at university were teachers. Actually, 3 of them. 2 of them had never read a book in their entire life. Ever. I'm not exaggerating. I used to watch them watch TV and go, what the fuck are these cunts going to pass on to the next generation of fucking retards? Look, I'm one of those retards too. By the time I got to university, after my first failure, I didn't even know how to write an essay. On my second attempt of university, I didn't know how to write an essay. I didn't even know how to write a fucking essay. I'm like 26 years old. I'm writing an essay about fucking sugarcane in Cuba that I don't give a fuck about. That takes me about 3 weeks of 8-hour days because I'm so fucking dumb. And I don't know who to blame. I don't know who to blame for that failure. That is a systemic failure. If I can go through almost 20 years of schooling and still not be able to write an essay in my mid-20s, late 20s, then who is to blame? Who's really to blame? Is it me? I don't think so. I'm one of those kids they tried to get rid of in year 9 and try to make a bricklayer. That's what they had me pegged for. I had to go around the whole system to get into it. I got bad scores. I didn't attend. I failed university. I got back in. I don't know how they let me into any of this shit. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, look, I'm possibly one of the greatest geniuses of this generation and the next generation. What is it you can teach me? Besides essay writing. But what do I need essay writing for? That's a formatting thing. That's not a creative problem-solving issue, which I am a god at. So what I'm saying is, kids, if you're listening, teachers, if you're listening, there'd be a few alcoholic teachers listening, I'm sure. Going, this guy is preaching. Parents, listen, education beyond learning to read and write and basic arithmetic All you need to teach your kids is fucking problem solving. High level problem solving is all you need. And lastly, this is the final thing. If you're hot, you do not need an education at all. And education is only going to hold you back. Just be hot, accept God's gifts, and just communicate in emojis. That's all you'll need for the future. Okay, and that draws to a conclusion another episode of Uninformed with comedian David Boyle. Good luck, Godspeed. I'll see you the fuck later.